Hey, it's Keith with Back 80 Outdoors. Just wanted to do a little introduction, tell you guys what we are about, why we wanted to start this channel up. So, about 3 weeks ago, Jared, Cade, and I just kind of talked and decided that we were going to do this channel for the fact we want to not only show our progress on this new farm that we have. I say new, it's 240 acre farm that Jared and Cade have owned pretty much a long time, but nobody ever did anything with it. And so I got with them last year and we said, you know what, it's time. It's completely wooded. There is a couple of open fields in there, but that's how we got started on this, and we just really want to show our progress on it, and then show you guys exactly how to prep your new farm, whether that be a large farm, a 200 acre farm, or a 50 acre farm. Typically I'm used to hunting 50 acre plots, and that's about it. So this is one of the largest. I've hunted a couple other places that are big like this, but like I said, I'm used to hunting the smaller plots. So we just wanted to share a little bit what we did at the beginning of this year, 2019. We threw out some feeders just to see what we had. We didn't know the deer that we had out there, if they were young, if the neighbors were killing off the bigger deer. We don't have a clue. We didn't have a clue at that time what the neighbors had, if they had food plots, feeders, if they're even hunters, so really we just set out feeders and some trail cameras for observation. And it was pretty cool because we've seen some smaller deer coming in at the beginning, and then a little bit later, that was like early spring, and then midsummer we start seeing a little bit bigger deer coming in, and then you start getting into September, October, and we start seeing bigger deer come in. And so really that's why we really wanted to start it, and just maybe you guys can learn a little something, or you guys can teach us a little something. I've hunted my entire life, but taking over an area, I would go out and I would throw a corn feeder out, put a camera up, and I was good. I'd put a stand up there by it, and that's what I would do. But now that I have something that I can invest my time and my money into, I've kind of set back, and I started doing a lot of reading, watching a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that, and trying to figure out, I've killed some good deer, and I'm kind of figuring out what we're going to do I kind of have a plan in the next 5 years where I want this property to be. We're wanting 5 to 10%, which is what they recommend to be a food source for the deer. I'm not even sure that we're going to put any stands on any of the plots. We may put 1 or 2, but I'm kind of thinking maybe that would be a safe haven for them. That way they can get in there and they can eat, they can get their nutrients and the protein and all that, and get those bigger antlers. I was fortunate enough to kill a 9-point off of this property this year. He was an old deer, 5.5, 6-year-old deer, plenty mature. We're wanting to let them get 4.5, 5 years old before we kill them, and that's just kind of normal. People say, oh, you need to let them go 6.5. Well, you let a deer go 6.5, which is fine if you have 10,000 acres. But realistically, you can't manage a deer. You can't manage deer with less than 1,000 acres. They're just not going to stay on that acreage. During the rut, those deer will go 2.5 miles out of their area. So But like I said, I was fortunate enough. We have an area we call the back 80, which is how we came up with our name. The back 80 is like the thickest of the thick. That's like their bedding areas and stuff like that. And so right now there's scrapes all over the ground. There's rubs everywhere. And so, that was kind of a core area for that deer that I went in and I killed in the back 80. My wife killed a 8-point off the back 80 in a blind opening weekend of muzzleloader season on that Saturday. She shot him that morning. I rattled him in. That Sunday we went back out. I seen that buck. Knew that instantly that he was a shooter. And so I started really studying this deer, and I had several trail cam pictures of him, but he would be real close to the camera, and so it's pretty deceiving, really. So you can't really tell how big they were. I thought that he was big, but I wasn't for sure. And so whenever I seen him that day, I was like, okay, this is him. I know that he's a shooter. And so that day kind of changed my strategy with him. He was 30 yards from the blind, but it was so thick in there, he didn't come where I needed him to. So I started really looking at trail cam pictures and decided, what, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take my not ladder stick, but my climbing sticks and a tree stand, and I'm going to go find the area that he's always kind of coming from, even early October. So I do so. I find a trail that looks like they have ran down it a million times. I mean, it just looked like a truck has drove through there. But I can assure you there's no way that you could even get a four-wheeler back there. It is so thick. So I find it. I find a tree about 20 yards from it. I knew right then it was going to happen. It's rut. The deer are, acting ruddy. So I knew that it was going to happen. So I went ahead. I set up 2:30 in the afternoon, and at 5 o'clock, that buck came in pushing a doe down the trail that I knew that he would. Now, he only presented me a 50-yard shot. The wind changed and went right in his direction, as it always does. But I made a 50-yard shot and got him. He was quartering away, and I hit him in the lungs, and the rest is history. He expired right there. So, we're going to talk about different strategies, just like that, running trail cameras all year. Like I said, if you're on a new property, and you don't know exactly what to do, throw out some corn, throw out some minerals or something, and put a camera out, and put a couple cameras out all over the place. Find some trails and put some cameras out, and that will show you what those deer are kind of doing, and it'll also show you what you have there. You may only have a couple young deer, and you may not need to hunt that property for a couple years or for a year, and revisit it and see what you got. Come rut time, and you're always going to get deer that come in during the rut. They're always, but you have to have the doe population, and realistically, we're kind of thin on the does. We've got probably 10 does that I've seen on camera, and it's not really good. So what we're going to do this year is we're going to plant food plots. Like I said, we're going to do about 5 to 10% food plots and get those deer in there and get them growing, and hopefully it pulls the deer off the neighboring properties, and I think that it'll be a great deal. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to kind of drop in, let you guys know why we started this channel. We want you guys to interact with us. We want you guys to tell us, your type of strategies. what you're seeing in your area. Like I said, we're from Oklahoma. If you live in Missouri, Kansas, Texas, I don't care. I like to hear about what you're seeing in your area. So be pretty cool to hear from you. It's not just hunting, it's fishing too. We crappie fish a lot, we bass fish. So really anything. I'm looking at getting into trapping this year. I've never done it, but it's always kind of it's always kept me interested in seeing it. I've watched multiple YouTube videos about it, and I really want to try it and try to thin out some coyotes and catch some bobcats and stuff like that. So anyway, just interact with us, guys, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you guys later.